So welcome back, everyone. Hopefully it was refreshing, tea and coffee. Let me please introduce the topic for the third panel is the crucial role for the construction sector in the Saudi vision. So please allow me to invite the moderator, Zahara Malik.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. I hope you all had a wonderful break. Before we kick off our very exciting panel, it actually gives me great honour and pleasure to invite Mr. Sekip to actually set the tone with a presentation. Following the presentation, we will then go on to the panel where I will be introducing Maya as well. So please, I would love to invite you to the stage. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I call myself Sekip in the West, Sekip in the East. I'm the Deputy CEO of Saudi Baytur, Saudi Arabian Baytur Construction Company. The name Baytur comes from Turkish. The company was originally set up as a SAGIA foreign investment company between the Turks and two Saudi entities in 2008, and in 2016. The Turkish partner has sold its shares, so the company is now 100% Saudi-owned, but the management that was provided by Baytur at the start has stayed the same. So far, so good. So thank you, Mr. Basil, and congratulations on 25 years of pursuing your noble causes at the BMG Foundation. It's an honor to be here with you. I have a brief presentation about the Saudi Giga projects and my company. And I should give some background before starting the slides. The Saudi Giga projects is the result of Vision 2030, which is a long-term strategic plan that was announced by the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, developed by the Economic Council that he was chairing at the time. And as part of the Vision 2030, the diversification of the Saudi economy was essential, not being based on oil industry now. About 2/3 of the GDP is currently provided by the oil industry. And this is not sustainable, as you would agree, in a country of 35 million, where 70% is younger than 35 years of age. So the Vision 2030 targets to diversify the economy, and the private sector is seen as the key to this diversification. And as the leader of the private sector comes the driver construction sector. So we are part of that construction sector. And the Giga projects that I'm going to show in my presentation are developed by the government and most of them sponsored by the Public Investment Fund, PIF, to really give a lot of opportunities for expansion of the construction industry, but through the construction industry, developing new environments, new sectors like tourism and entertainment especially, and which will provide a lot of work opportunities, job opportunities, train the local youth for positions opened, as well as localization of supply and labor force, hopefully. Here we go. These are the 4 projects, Giga projects, that are sponsored by the Public Investment Fund. These are huge projects. NEOM, billions of dollars, over 500 billion, the last number I heard. The Red Sea project, the Qiddiya project, and the Roshan project, Roshan being a housing project. The NEOM project is being developed as a futuristic city in if we want to summarize in a couple of words. And there are a lot of projects there that within the NEOM city that are still being developed. And it's going to be in a very large area by the Red Sea coast and on the mountains. The Red Sea coast project, the Red Sea project, is mostly tourism. It's developed on a Galapagos of islands, very sustainable, and the first hotels are supposed to be open next year. The Kıdya project focuses on entertainment and is supposed to be one of the largest entertainment centers of the world. And the Roshan project is for residential new environments to be, in the first phase, I think 30,000 homes are to be developed with the near city centers. In addition to the PIF's 4 giga projects, there are a few more that are worth mentioning. Asir development projects, this is in southeast part of near the Yemen border of Saudi, which is mountainous and has very nice climate during the hot summer months. And this is going to be a huge tourism development. We are looking forward to this one. Diriyah Gate projects is going to be mostly tourism oriented. It's in Riyadh. Diriyah is what was known as the first historical city of Saudi Arabia, and it's being developed there. And Al Ula is pretty much the continuation of Petra in Jordan, and it's a tourism development, and it's a big one. The opportunities for contractors and investors that we see with the giga projects is too many for me to even think about. The resources of Saudi Arabia are not going to be enough to execute all these projects, and the opportunities and returns to be presented in medium and long term by these projects are expected to be huge, to use Trump's word. Now, just to introduce Saudi Arabian Baytur, we have 18,000 employees working there now, about 16 billion or $4.5 billion worth of projects, and the numbers are there. As mentioned, we were established in 2008. 100% Saudi ownership, diversified project portfolio. We are specialized in high-end buildings, university campuses, hospitals, big hotels. We are ISS certified. We have first-class Saudi contractors classification certificate, which is important there. And we care a lot about about safety, and we have an impeccable health and safety record so far, thank God. These are our project locations as Saudi Baytur, in Tabuk, in Medina, in Mecca, in Asir, in Riyadh. So we are all over the country. This is our project timeline. Starting in 2009, we have been adding large projects to our portfolio every year. And these are our certificates and awards, most of them safety and quality. We are very much quality-oriented contractor. And we are specializing in, we are specialized in fast-track projects and very challenging projects. Now a few pictures, a lot of pictures, but I'll cut it short. Neom Bay Airport, this was a military airstrip that was used by the Royal Air Force We had to convert it to a commercial airport, and they gave us 6 months to do it, and we were able to do it, and all the Neom people are using this airport now to travel back and forth. Misk City is Mohammed bin Salman Foundation. It's a new city development near Riyadh, and we are building the campus for their schools. And this started a year ago, and we have to deliver it by the end of this year. This is an Air Force project financed by the US Air Force for the Royal Air Force. This is Kaust Harbor. Kaust is King Abdullah University of Science and Technology. Here we are renovating or redoing 65 large dormitory buildings or apartment buildings, and we are about 25% ahead of time. It's a 4-year project. These are the buildings. This is ITRA, a major project in the eastern region, a cultural center that was built by Saudi Arabia, what was not completed, so we had to complete it and deliver it for use. Aramco, these are projects in the refineries, but non-industrial projects, like warehouses, laboratories, housing, villa housing for Aramco, and university project. This is a 65,000 student campus in Apa, in that Asir region in southeast of Saudi Arabia. And it has a hospital of 800 beds, fully equipped, turnkey, as well as many conference centers and classrooms. Faculty buildings. This is in Mecca. These are 4 towers we built for Jumeirah hotels, about 1,000 rooms. And this is the parent Baytur. Parent Baytur has built in the Qatar National Convention Center as well as the Qatar Islamic Arts Museum, which are well known in the region. This is an art piece designed by IMP and delivered by Baytur. Received many awards in America and internationally. We built the first apartment buildings in the Burj Dubai in Dubai, as well as these towers. And that's it. Thank you for your attention.
Mike, I also asked you to join as well. Thank you. Well, thank you again, Sekip, for such an insightful welcome to this session. I think it's very clear the crucial role that construction is playing in the kingdom. And Maya, thank you so much for joining the panel as well. I'm very excited to sort of shape the discussion. I'm just going to be mindful of the time. We're on schedule. So just to actually kick off, so Sekip, you just again set the tone for the panel and shown, the importance of the role that the giga projects are going to play in terms of infrastructure and to be able to build the kingdom. We've also seen Goldman Sachs do reports sort of saying that there's going to be continued 4.3% growth within the sector between now and 2025. Beyond the tangible examples that you've shown in the presentation, how do you feel personally that the construction sector is playing a role in the kingdom and the impact that it's making?
It'll be the driver of the growth in localization of supply and localization of talent, because we have to train, and we started doing that because the projects by government's initiative are requiring local employment and local supplies incentivizing. So we are trying to make more. We are even investing in manufacturing facilities in addition to ours. And also a lot of manufacturers of our subcontractors are expanding because of the projects that we are doing. So that's a driver. Along with that, there is a lot of benefits as to sustainability, because most of these giga projects are calling for high-end technology and also sustainability. And we are practicing sustainability in our even own labor camps and our sites. And when achieved, and all these projects are going to be done by the construction companies who have grown to the world standards from where they are today. That's what my expectation.
Thank you so much. And Maya, if I could go over to you, and obviously the vast experience that you have in the sector as well, particularly on the sort of economic development side of construction. What are some of your perhaps opening insights onto the sector and the impact that it's made in the kingdom?
I think the construction industry will be playing a crucial role in this in 2030 vision. It's going to build the vision on what is required or what's wanted to be achieved by the vision. It's going to be delivered by the construction industry. If you want more touristic facilities, the construction industry has to build that. That's from one aspect. From another aspect, it's going to contribute to the economy, to the GDP of Saudi Arabia. For example, the construction industry in the UK contributes around 7% to the GDP. I'm expecting that number to be even higher in Saudi Arabia. The numbers, the figures, the budgets that have been set for projects like NEOM, it's a beast.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Great way to describe it, absolutely.
I'm sure it will contribute even more. It will create more job opportunities. It's not only NEOM, there are plenty and many other projects that we heard about, and I'm sure there are going to be other giga projects that are going to be announced later to achieve the ambitions of the vision.
Well, thank you both so much. And Sekip, I think you touched on it just before on the first question, and I think even throughout the forum, ESG seems to be a huge topic of discussion. And, surprisingly, I think, well, a lot of people are probably aware that the construction sector obviously plays quite a huge role in this sort of sustainability angle. And I know that the kingdom, it's a primary driver for the vision. Where do you feel that sustainability has played a role, particularly in the construction sector? Are there particular innovations that you've seen that perhaps will spearhead the sector even more so?
Well, as a Saudi Baytur, we are actually believers of sustainability and try to practice it as much as possible, as I mentioned, in our sites and projects. And also, most of the new employers of giga projects are imposing this. We recently developed with King Abdullah University of Science and Technology. We invested in it and completed with them a smart villa, which is totally sustainable, water-wise and energy-wise, as a model. And it has received, I think, the only and first LEED platinum certificate in Saudi Arabia. We developed it because KAUST is planning to have it adopted by some of these giga projects. So in the future, I mean, this is the start of the future, and it's going to bloom.
I think you're absolutely right there, and I think what's quite interesting is that what's been hugely refreshing is the kingdom really is trying to spearhead innovation within sustainability in the construction sector. And it's very reassuring to hear that you're implementing that in some of your projects on the ground. Maya, I know that you've also got quite a global perspective on the sustainability angle. How has that shaped perhaps the global agenda? And then maybe if we give a spotlight on the kingdom as well, on your experience.
So the net zero goal is something every country wants to achieve. The kingdom, I believe, wants to achieve net zero by 2060, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
and it's part of the 2030 vision. It's new requirements for all construction projects, either to work on current assets the industry has, and also to develop new assets that can accommodate and be more environmental friendly and responds to the requirements of the climate agenda of the world. We also are going to witness lots of energy projects. I think in the kingdom there are lots of solar panels, cities, and hydrogen energy generators. In the UK, there's also, especially after the war with Russia and Ukraine, there is also a focus on the energy sector and to have more greener energy and more environment friendly. So we would see more focused on the energy producers projects, I would call it. Yeah.
No, I think that's again a truly fantastic point, because I think, you know, it's all synonymous. They've got a real symbiotic relationship between the construction sector, you know, the role of energy, and obviously even if we look at infrastructure and the role of mobility across the kingdom as well, which is a huge part of the wider agenda. And I think that's an excellent point to say that, you know, they need to be hand in hand. And the energy sector is going to play quite a significant role in the construction sector as it continues to grow as a huge focus for the region.
And if I may add to that, for example, if you look at NEOM, I think by 2025 it's going to be dependent on green energy, 100% on green energy. I think this is an opportunity for countries like Saudi Arabia that are building new giga project or new cities from the scratch. This is doable. It's easier to implement build a city that are environmental friendly rather than
the other way around.
Yeah, the other way around, or retrofit current urban development.
No, again, it's what's reassuring is creating that gold standard, and, you know, using that as an opportunity to perhaps for the future of smart cities, which I think is again hugely inspiring and a great learning curve. And Sekip, from your vast experience and obviously some of the incredible projects that you're currently working on, what's been really reassuring is seeing not only real estate, but there's things on education. I didn't realize that you were working on the schools with MISC. I think that's you know, hugely reassuring. How has the kingdom perhaps shaped construction by looking at other sectors? So beyond just real estate, tourism and culture, this sort of role of education and healthcare, how are some of these what role has these industries played in construction?
We need education support to move ahead in construction in Saudi Arabia with local talent. And one of our objectives as Saudi Baytur is to start joint programs, training programs with the universities in Saudi Arabia to maybe increase the desire among young people to join construction sector, offer them jobs while they are still students. And we want to do all this because it's necessary for the country. And the country has a huge resource of young people, but they have to be driven. They have to join. There are a lot of expats working in Saudi Arabia right now, like myself. In construction industry, thousands of consultants are working. They need local talent. They probably are doing the same things that we are aspiring to do. So it's very important as the collaboration between the education and construction industries.
Well, again, it's wonderful to see that you, as a company, it's a huge focus for you.
Yes.
And if I may, just to add on that point, what are perhaps some of the learning that you've seen come out of the kingdom that perhaps globally we could take from the kingdom, particularly in the construction sector?
Saudi Arabia is a special country with resources that are not available in many countries, be it human resources or financial resources. So what I have experienced, I joined Saudi Baytur, and I was in the United States, I'm from the States, in 2010, and I've been there 12 years. And among these 12 years, I've noticed the transformation of the country from what it was to where it's going, and it's still going. It's at the initial stages. And when this ambitious drive is completed, and we'll see it in 2030, in about a matter of 8 years, where we are, it's going to be very reflective upon what the world can do, in my opinion. Sure, I mean, resources are required in other countries to do what Saudi Arabia is planning to do now. But overall, it also shows the human ambition that things can be achieved. So I think it's a good example.
Thank you so much for that. Maya, I'd also love to sort of add to Sekip's point there is, you know, this role of transformation within the last sort of decade, particularly that you've seen. How have you seen the evolution of the kingdom in terms of the role of the construction sector?
So the construction sector evolved a lot in Saudi Arabia. I left Saudi Arabia in 2015,
Right.
and I worked on also mega projects there. However, they were more of a traditional projects. Now we're seeing more futuristic projects and more specialized requirements in the project that I think I've never seen anywhere else in the world. I would think that there will be more need for more specialized skills, will be more focused on the environment, will be even from men and women diversity, it will be more diverse as well.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see even more innovation in the projects as well. We've already seen that in many projects like NEOM,
Red Sea development.
King's,
as well. Yeah.
yes, King Salman Park.
Yes, absolutely.
There are many projects that when you read it, you get really impressed by the requirements and the vision in those projects.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Before I carry on with my questions, I just thought I'd take a quick pause and see if the audience had any questions. Yes, please. Could you introduce yourself?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Caroline Kurzweil. I'm the CEO of Inspire Crypto and Inspire RegTech. Oh, sorry, I have a fairly loud voice. I've stood in 2 general elections.
Oh, right.
So it is wonderful to be here. I've flown in from Mallorca, where I'm spending my summer.
Lovely.
Building out my project. I'm a RegTech lawyer. I build bridges and I build and train young women in Saudi Arabia. I received a G8 award on my 30th birthday for training the first female lawyer. So give me your lawyers, your young people, and I will get them qualified. I have a law firm of 80 people now. I'm launching on the 1st of September, but we're already working. It's just the official launch comes then. I work a lot since Brexit, I left the UK because I couldn't believe in what they were doing in division. I'm all about building. Basically, I speak Arabic, basic. I studied at SOAS. I worked with the Al-Madar family for 9 years, building the office in Dubai and working in Jeddah. I specialize in construction. I've been building a lot of the wonderful projects in Turks and Caicos. So, and I've actually, funnily enough, some connections I've met over the last few days while I've been here in London. I flew in yesterday. So, yes, if you could please give me your young ladies or young men, and I can do training contracts for them. Yeah, inshallah, I can help.
Thank you so much. Lovely comment there. Thank you. And huge congratulations for that. Sounds absolutely incredible and hugely inspiring. If William, I believe. William, if you'd like to.
Hi, I'd like to ask a question on ensuring, obviously, ESG, but at the same time ensuring that they're not low-skill migrant workers who are exploited, and what Baytur is doing to manage exploitation within the construction industry and how they're able to mitigate that.
Well, I mean, the labor laws in Saudi Arabia are very strict. And we ourselves, because of our background, our Turkish parent organization, are very much for creating a team. And in a team, you cannot really exploit anyone, as you know. So we do our best to minimize any such incidences. We provide our own camp standards, which are world-class. We provide our own catering for every camp, and healthcare and everything else. So on our part, we do our best, and also we impose those standards on our subcontractors. And we'll continue doing that. That's what we intend to do.
Thank you so much. Basil.
Sekip, since you've been in the Saudi market for 12 years, right? Yeah. What is your advice to the UK, your advice to the UK construction companies? Are they better off parachuting into the Saudi market directly, or having some kind of joint venture with companies like yours to win these giga projects mandates?
Thank you for that question. I mean, one reason that I'm here is also we are interested in collaborating with foreign construction companies, because our resources or knowledge is not enough to handle or take a part of these huge development projects. And what we are expecting from our foreign partners and joint venture partners is to provide us with the knowledge and experience, and we'll do the rest. Now, Saudi Arabia, as I mentioned, is a very special country. It has its own customs. I worked for Qatar and Dubai with Baytur before coming to Saudi Arabia. I could do that from the United States. I could fly once a month for a week, and I could handle it. You can't do that in Saudi Arabia. And in Saudi Arabia, to get established, to start, etc., Baytur, Turkish Baytur, in 1980s came there as a branch office and did some projects, then ran out. Then came back as partners with the Saudi companies, and so far we are successful and moving forward. So my modest suggestion would be to find a local partner rather than trying to open a shop yourself, and go from there. It will be much faster and much healthier. It's not easy to get established in Saudi Arabia at this time. Maybe it will get easier in the future, but not today.
I think it's a key point to highlight the importance of collaboration and working with a partner on the ground, and also very refreshing to hear that it's extremely different to the UAE or to how Qatar works, where it's about being on the ground, being present, and being very mindful of the relationships on the ground. So that's an excellent point.
Scales are very large.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful point. Was there any other questions, William? Okay.
I just wanted to ask one more. I just wanted to ask one more question. Has COVID-19 slowed down your Baytur construction work? Obviously, we've heard about what's happened with Jeddah Tower. There's a lot of talk of it not going ahead, or is it going ahead? There's a lot of uncertainty with that. I'd just like to understand a little bit more.
It was definitely, like the rest of the world, affected us. I was stuck in the States. I couldn't come back to I was stuck at home, which was lucky, I guess, from my point of view. For 6 months, I could get familiar with my granddaughter. So, but my CEO couldn't leave. He had to stay because he missed the flight. But the laws and restrictions set by the Saudi authorities were so strict, and we were so careful of applying them that I think we had survived it with very little damage. We didn't have a huge stoppage in any of our sites. We had a couple of cases, they were hospitalized. We lost 2 employees to COVID among the 12,000. But outside of that, we were able to survive it, and it was very difficult times. And we had to continue our projects, although at a slower pace, definitely.
Thank you so much. I can take one more question from the audience. Yes, gentlemen, sorry.
That's Alper Pardon from API Group.
Can we just wait for the microphone? Sorry. Thank you so much.
I was wondering, do you believe that is there any kind of competition between Saudi Arabia and like the major real estate markets like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha in the coming years? Because these markets are established, they are very open to the international markets and overseas buyers. Do you believe that Saudi Arabia will be like them? Is Saudi Arabia gonna open these markets to the individual buyers, and Saudi Arabia will be competing with similar vision? Thank you.
Who'd like to? I mean, I'll wait for my comments, but no, Maya, over to you. Do you want to try and get that, and then over you to Sekip as well.
The idea of competition, I don't see the purpose of it, to be honest. Why do countries need to compete against each other? I would be happy for all the mentioned countries to be successful in their vision. However, I think the media and the focus of Vision 2030 has been all over the news. The project that's been in the construction industry, if you want to focus on the construction industry, the project that we've heard about in Saudi Arabia, we haven't heard about anywhere else in the world. NEOM is like, I have colleagues internally at Townsend that are working on NEOMs from the UK. They are working in NEOMs from the US. So I think the media and the scope of the vision is so big, is massive in Saudi Arabia.
Thank you for that, Maya. Sekip, did you want to add to that point?
If there is a competition, I mean, maybe Saudi is still developing its laws for these special projects and areas, and there will be some legal developments that are going to make it maybe Saudi Arabian environment more friendly to foreign investors or foreign newcomers. Outside of that, I don't see, even if there is a competition, I don't see anyone catching up with Saudi Arabia. These projects are huge, and they are going to be done because the driver of the government is working on them very carefully.
Yeah, I think 2 excellent points, and I always say, having been in the GCC myself for over a decade, that it's not necessarily a competition, but it actually is a sense of collaboration. And the amount of times I've had the honour of sitting with meetings from PIF to sort of developers on the ground has always been, how do we learn? How do we exchange notes and essentially, make a stronger unit? So I think competition is probably not the word personally. I think it's always been a collaborative approach, and essentially that there really is that sense of brotherhood, especially, and there's admiration. And I think Maya made an excellent point about how we haven't heard of projects or innovation around things like NEOM, which perhaps isn't around the sort of, not cousins, but brothers in the GCC haven't perhaps even seen innovation themselves. So I think it's more commended, and I think that there's definitely that readiness to be open for international investors to come over and experience the kingdom. So, but an excellent question. And I'm actually almost out of time. So if I could just perhaps ask my esteemed panellists to perhaps a closing remark on where do we see the future of construction in the region? What do we perhaps want the audience to take away in terms of what is the crucial role that the construction sector is playing in the kingdom? Perhaps just a couple of parting words would be wonderful. Maya, yes, over to you.
Okay, so I believe that the construction industry is building the vision. I believe there will be great opportunities for investment for other companies to work in Saudi Arabia on that vision. I'm very optimistic to see how this will end. I have a very optimistic vision of that as well. So.
Well, thank you for that positivity. I think we all need it, especially where we are globally now. So thank you for that, Maya. And Sekip, please, your parting words.
I just say, come to Saudi Arabia, see it yourself, stay with us, visit us, we'll show you around, and you'll see it. It's very visible. I mean, the panel before us, I think one of the gentlemen said that I was there a couple of weeks ago, and I was impressed with what I'm seeing. I heard the same thing from all visitors so far, business professionals. So Saudi Arabia is the place to come and do business now.
What a beautiful words to end on. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing such in-depth detail about the sector. And we look forward to seeing the progress in the next year at the next forum, on the 25th forum. So thank you again, once again. A round of applause, please, for the panel. Thank you so much.